Hi, I'm Douglas Farngalo. I studied radio at BCU, studied media and communications at BCU, with specialism in radio productions. I was also opportune to to work at the BBC as a work placement student. And since graduation, I have been involved in freelance journalism, especially covering stories about Liberia in the diaspora and also working with government agencies in Liberia as well. Yeah, radio is very powerful in Africa. It touches every facet of the society, especially when it comes to education, when it comes to health awareness like HIV awareness, when it comes to farming, educational information getting out. Even if the health of the home is convinced that whatever it is being said on the radio is believable, he spreads it to the rest of the family. And you get that real passion going through people, and people are really dedicated to listen to the radio. Sometimes you find people stopping and listening to the radio, maybe if the news comes on, or maybe if there is a topic of interest around the country. And radio is really believable in Africa. I started radio as a student broadcaster with my school's radio station back in northeastern Liberia. And the radio was very much popular on campus because everybody obviously wanted to listen to news around campus and wanted to know what was going on. And then I moved later on to the main radio station, which was ELCM, which was the Catholic radio station. And the Catholic Church being very strong in Liberia politically and socially as well as religiously, standing up against dictators. Our station was one of the strongest in the capital. But radio-wise, people were very passionate about listening to the radio, about news events, because our station did carry the angles that the government stations didn't carry. At the University of Liberia, there was also a passion for news. There is also a radio department there as well as a mass communication department. And radio throughout the years in Liberia has been a very powerful instrument in fostering democracy and standing up against dictatorship. Even during the war in Liberia, the radio, the BBC Focus on Africa was widely listened to. Whenever there were news broadcasts, whenever there was interview with warring factions, say for example Charles Taylor and all his policies and destructive policies, he used the medium. Excuse me for that expression, but he used the worldwide media such as the BBC to really spread his war and to be able to be successful. So radio is a very powerful medium in Africa. A lot of people do believe in the radio, and whatever you say on the radio as a radio presenter, if you're not careful, you might cause destruction. Well, I intend to start a radio or communications for development course, which will be primarily focused on radio broadcasting, because falling back on my area, presently I'm doing a master's in international migration and ethnic relations, which incorporates all of my life, so to speak, traveling from traveling to Germany and then to the UK and then going to Sweden. I've always also covered Africa in my professional work as a journalist. But I think the essence of radio is very good because people, aside from the internet, radio travels very far. If you go to the remotest part of the Sahara, you will see someone with a transistor radio. And even if you go into the deepest forest in Liberia or Nigeria, for example, there's always someone with a radio and a clothes hanger hanging on his roof or hanging from his zinc. And he's sitting down in his zinc shack. He can listen to French news, he can listen to Arabic news, and some of the time, even news from other parts of the world that you don't even expect to filter into African societies or to filter into those societies, get to those people. Hey, for example, let's look at the Premiership. Manchester United, Leeds United, and Arsenal and Chelsea. Every African village you go through, you see someone with a Chelsea t-shirt, or someone tells you he's a fan of the Premiership. You will hardly think that someone will be able to be a member of such developed idea of the Premiership. And how do these people get their news? They don't watch satellite television like you and me. They listen to the news. They listen to the radio broadcast. And it's a very powerful tool. People respect the radio. When you're a radio personality in my country, people will do everything they can to meet you because you touch lives and you touch their hearts whenever you speak to them through the radio. The Catholic radio station over the years has been prominent in Liberia because it has taken a political angle, so to speak, standing up against dictators like Charles Taylor and other people. But notwithstanding, we have other radio stations. The Methodist Church also has a radio station as well. The Muslim faith also has a radio station as well. And most times they do try as much as possible to carry their liturgy or their church services on the radio for their audiences or for their parishioners or followers who are not opportune to go to church to listen to the radio. So the radio station covers every aspect of Liberia, aside from it being political and the government using it as an instrument to get their messages across. People do listen to radio for all sorts. And now, even nowadays, since our president, who is the first female president of Africa, has opened up the way for freedom of speech in Liberia, you also have radio debates as well, where people come out and criticize her widely. First of its kind in Africa, where you see people come out actually and criticize the president for for being corrupt, and you don't see no one being dragged into jail the next day, and all those things go through the radio. You hardly see people with television sets because people cannot afford it. But with the radio station, you can take your radio, your little transistor, and go as far as into the African villages, and people will be there waiting to listen to you and willing to tune up to the station, either to the news or to the federal health or agricultural program every day, trying to find out what's the best new information they can gather.